Hey, Joseph Ho. How you doing there, man? Good to have everybody here in the chat. Didn't have time to do a preview video today, so we're just going to run right into go live. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. I'm working on a new film. I'm not going to give out any more details on that, but I'm going to cover two major stories today. These are the biggest stories we should all be focused on. So let's start here in a minute, but first let me know you can hear me. Give me a smile in the chat. Let me know that I sound okay, that you can see me. All right. Thank you, every citizen. I appreciate that. First to respond. Okay, well, let's take a look at some of the major stories here today. Let me do the split screen here. Here we have General Petraeus. This is according to Fox News. Now, obviously, this scandal is unraveling. Obviously, this digs a lot deeper than what we're getting from the mainstream media. Okay, we'll just leave it there. Don't even have to go into all the details right now. But Petraeus agrees to testify. This is breaking news on Libya before congressional committees. Now, before, he was supposed to testify this week. Then he wasn't going to testify. I said this was the equivalent of pardoning O.J. Simpson 1 week or a few days before his murder trial. So it's good to see that Petraeus is testifying, although this is very murky. I don't really expect that we're going to get any real information from Petraeus, and if anything, what he tells the American people and what he tells the public, if this is even public, I don't even think this hearing is going to be public. You know, they probably want to prevent a media fiasco. You're just going to get a pre-programmed response. And they're blurring the real story here. They're blurring it in the respect that they're making it about a sex scandal. They're making it about Petraeus's menage a trois with these two ladies. Who cares? Who cares that this guy was having sex and cheating on his wife? That tells us that something is up here. That tells us that they're covering something up. Bottom line, this is a massive cover-up. We were one of the first news organizations to break that. Our videos, a few of them at least, have since pretty much exploded. And we've had some major stories. This has been a hell of a week. I mean, let's just be honest with each other here. This has been a hell of a week, America. I'm going to have a radio show archive up at some point today, probably after I deliver this Go Live segment. Had some good interviews, good commentary. Spoke with Chris Duane. He made his debut on our show the second hour, so I encourage you to watch that, listen to it. Please get it out to your friends and family. But back to CIA Director, former CIA Director David Petraeus. He's agreed to testify about the Libya terror attack before the House and Senate Intelligence Committees. Petraeus had originally been scheduled to testify this Thursday on the burgeoning controversy over the deadly September 11th attack. That appearance was scuttled, though, after the director abruptly resigned over an extramarital affair. The resignation has since expanded into a sprawling scandal that now includes allegations that General John Allen, the top U.S. commander in Afghanistan, exchanged inappropriate and sexually charged emails with Jill Kelly, a Florida socialite linked to the Petraeus case. The rapid developments in the case have all but obscured what until last week was an intense debate on Capitol Hill and beyond over the Benghazi terror attack. So this scandal has exploded. This is huge news. Why? Why? What are they hiding? After Petraeus' resignation, lawmakers complained that the scandal was no reason they shouldn't hear from the man at the helm of the CIA when CIA operatives came under attack alongside State Department employees in Benghazi last month. The logistics of Petraeus' appearance are still being worked out, but a source close to Petraeus said the former four-star general has contacted the CIA as well as his committees in both the House and the Senate to offer his testimony as the former CIA director. Several news outlets have learned he's expected to speak off-site to the Senate Intelligence Committee on Friday. So he's speaking off-site not publicly, on Friday about his Libya report. Obama administration must be under a lot of pressure. They obviously are. Not only are they covering something up, but they're under a lot of pressure to make it look like General Petraeus actually releases and makes a statement, like he's actually investigated. See, the damage would be far worse if they buried the story and they buried the Petraeus testimony. So this will be a farce. This is really just an act to placate the American people, the public, and the critics that smell something extremely rotten. And this goes all the way back, in my opinion, to the September 11th, 2001 terror attacks. That's how deep I think that this story goes. This is major. So the logistics of Petraeus' appearance are still being worked out, but a source close to Petraeus, the former four-star general, has contacted the CIA, House, the Senate. Of course, this attack was blamed initially on a mob reacting to protests over an anti-Islam film. Now, of course, that was a lie. That was a total fabrication by the Obama administration. Another reason that we're seeing this was a planned cover-up, that they're hiding something. Had nothing to do with this Islam film. Had nothing to do with that at all. This wasn't an organic movement. This wasn't an organic protest of any kind, spawned randomly at the Libyan embassy that killed Christopher Stevens and these 3 other Americans. This wasn't random at all. So we'll be looking into this story, and again, I'm going to keep it short and sweet today because I'm working on a project myself. I'm working on a new film, so I need to stay focused on that. Huge story. Dig at this. Investigate this. Send me anything you find, anything you think is relevant. I don't even care if you're looking at it and you're going, oh, Christopher probably already knows this. Send me anything. Tips at amtvmedia.com. Tips at amtvmedia.com. You can go to our website. You can click our contact link. That's how you reach us. Send me anything you think that's relevant to this story. Keep digging. So that was huge in the news. Also, major news. Ron Paul, I'm going to go to his video here in a minute. If I can find it. And in fact, this will be a test. In fact, I'm going to play it. Let me know if you can hear it. So give me a smiley face if you can hear it, and an upside down non-smiley face if you can't. Okay. So you can't hear it. We'll have to figure that out. Let me just explain this. If you haven't watched this video has received over 177,000 views since it was released. I saw this when there was 6 views on it yesterday. Dr. Paul all but says secede in this video. Now, he is, of course, a politician, and he's playing politics, so he doesn't quite just come out and say it. But he says that we should consider it. He says that we should think about secession. I want you to think about how major this is. We have a major political figure within the libertarian movement, within the freedom and liberty movement, who failed operating within the two-party paradigm and pitching himself and running for the presidency. That was a failure. As much respect as I have for Ron Paul, as much as I think he's a great man, and I think he's had tremendous courage, and he's done so much for the movement, just objectively, it was a failure. He is now on camera behind a bookcase and an American flag saying the United States and the people of America should think about, at the very least, think about secession. I want you to think about how major that is. I want you to think about how impactful that is. People like Ron Paul and soon to be others saying that the American people should think about this. Why? Why now? Why is Ron Paul making this an issue? Now, I'm actually not even digging at this where I think necessarily something malicious is going on. I don't necessarily think that Ron Paul is malicious. I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying we got a question. Here we have all these petitions. We have all these states, thousands of people signing. We saw this with Texas. I'm not sure how many signatures they are up to today. It was 25,000, then it was 75,000. They've probably at least broken 100,000 since we last talked about it. In fact, our video we put on it got about 8,000 views. I just want to think about the timing of this, and I want you to think about the significance of this. You have a politician, a major politician within the freedom and liberty movement saying the American people should consider secession. Major. Big, big story. And you can see here the people love it. They love it. 2,500 likes to 138 dislikes. So the question is, and it's the top comment, as I guessed it would be, is, is Ron Paul going to be the new president of a divided United States? Is he the new president post-Civil War? Is he the president of the South? Is Obama the president of the New North? Very significant. I want you to think about all this today. These are major stories. In fact, we're always covering the news. I'm always kind of threading the needle. I've always had a really good knack for seeing how things, seeing what's coming, seeing how things are going to unfold, why the mainstream media, you get good at this after a while. You see how you're being programmed. You see how you're being manipulated. You see why you're being pitched something in a certain way. And this week has honestly been one of the most major weeks I've ever had as our platform, as a media platform. These are massive stories. Secession, and looks to be a massive cover-up with Petraeus and Benghazi. I'm going to go to your questions. I'm going to spend a few minutes addressing any questions or comments you might have, and then I'm going to cut it short today because I have a lot of projects to work on. I'm pretty much buried, and it'll be worth it because the content we'll be presenting and the content we'll be getting out to you, it'll be well worth the wait. Let's go to some of your comments here. People are talking about the attack on Hamas. We see that people are dropping some links in the room. Lincoln. In fact, I have Topher Morrison working on a review of the Lincoln film. He watched it last night. He'll be putting that out. So kind of an entertainment perspective. It's a film I do want to see, but very interesting timing. Again, all this is just coming at the same time. A film on Lincoln, a Steven Spielberg production. This rhetoric, it makes you wonder. Is this just a Hollywood spin job? Yeah, let's get the American people talking about Civil War right before we drop the bomb of the new Lincoln film. This is amazing timing. So stay tuned for that. Topher Morrison, this will be his first movie review. I think he'll do a great job. In fact, I know he'll do a great job, so I'm looking forward to that. The Protestant view says there were great differences of opinion between the South and the North on the question of slavery. Neither Jeff Davis nor any one of the leading men of the Confederacy would have dared to attack the North. And you know what, Protestant view? Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. Maybe it's not racially about color anymore, but it's still about slavery. It's about the nation being divided and those that are opting, as it looks like today, and we're seeing at whitehouse.gov, wanting to secede from the Union, are wanting to break away from the slavery of the New North, are wanting to break away from the slavery of debt, are wanting to break away from the slavery of fiat currency. Still about slavery. Not the color of our skin, not the color of your skin, but it's still about bondage. It's still about being chained. Meme Jones says, timing is everything, Chris. Pretty smart. Major stories. We should all be very, very nerve-wracked about all this. And although the people are waking up, and although more people are realizing that the two-party system is a sham, it's a total joke, it's a total lie, there is no vote. Your vote doesn't count. The Republicans can now see that. That's what's radicalizing the Republicans. That's why they're moving to a more libertarian perspective. This is still extremely dangerous for the United States of America. There is nothing funny, there's nothing exciting, and there is nothing to cheer about when you have a country so divided that people are literally signing petitions to secede from the Union, to secede from the New North. I mean, this is a complete juxtaposition of a belief system. Constitutionalists, liberty, bondage, debt, a flawed monetary system, socialism, handouts. I mean, this is diametrically opposed. I saw Bill Maher in a video last night. I'm just listening to this guy, and I realize he's a very popular entertainer, and I'll watch him because he's entertaining. Disagree with pretty much 100% of what he says, what comes out of his mouth, but I still watch it because, honestly, he resonates with a good portion of America. Literally. He resonates with a good portion of the citizenry. And he was talking about last night just about how, the Republicans just make stuff up, and that how, they've got to reform their party, and that it just doesn't resonate with the people anymore, and just, I can't help but think these people hate America, and that's exactly why the country's dividing. That's exactly why here we are living through a pre-Civil War era. At the same time, they're about to drop a Lincoln film, courtesy of Steven Spielberg. Timing is everything. This film is going to be huge. It's on the minds of everybody. Makes you wonder, Hollywood, are they behind this? This has been brewing for a long time, and the re-election of President Barack Obama has only catalyzed this movement, has only catalyzed the secession movement. This has just begun. And I want to tell you why it's so dangerous. Although people will laugh it off today, they were laughing at this a week ago when I was talking about it, 2 weeks ago, leading up to the presidency, saying, this is fringe lunatic stuff, Chris. And then literally, boom, all of a sudden, we've got thousands of people signing petitions, and it's not such a fringe issue anymore. Ron Paul's saying we should think about it. Think about that for a minute. But what makes this so dangerous is not exactly what's happening right now, but when the next shoe drops, when our capital markets implode once again, when we experience another 2008, but we make it look like a church picnic compared to what's coming, when our capital markets crash to zero and people are left hopeless, dying in the streets, when the dollar is worth nothing, zero, when the Dow Jones Industrial Average is at zero, and the people lose their IRAs and retirement accounts and everything that they were worth, and they have no hope and future? You think we have a secession movement now? Wait until you see what we've got coming down the pike. That's what makes it dangerous, America. So there's nothing about this that sits with me necessarily well, where I'm like, great, the people are waking up. No, this is very dangerous. And it's a very sad day in American history. The fact that it's come to this. The fact that the Ron Pauls of the world and average Americans are waking up to the fact that we don't have a constitutional republic anymore. That we don't have a country. And the only way to take it back is to divide it. That's all I have for today. Stay tuned. We've got some amazing content coming up in the very near future. As I mentioned for you just joining the chat. In fact, I'm going to repost this on YouTube. More people need to see this than just a few dozen here in the live segment. These are major stories. They have major implications for the American people and the people of the world. I'm Christopher Green. You've been watching Green Wave TV, alternative media television, and I just delivered the Daily Wave. Hard-hitting and in your face.